And that would be Pat George making Tampa Home Talk amazing. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. Thanks for the music. Right on time, as always, Pat. Joined by Leo Kane, and Adam Talley is out.
Adam's just gone. He ghosted. But, I like it when we have music intros because it reminds me that we're, in addition to being on 1010 AM, we are on 2 FM stations.
And we are live.
And we are live. Yes.
And
you can't have music on AM.
Don't forget about HD. Let me tell you, that HD radio in your car is so strong. Like, if you're not picking us up on 99.52, the second signal, try it, because most cars have HD in the car, and it's so strong. It's more clear than FM.
Nice. Well, that's why there is no real music on AM, because it's not strong enough to carry the different wave sound lengths of true music. So you miss a lot if you're listening to music on AM. So that's why they had FM.
Makes sense.
It's probably the same for HD, which we get one better than HD, will probably be so strong and so high quality, the sound will be coming through in waveforms that we can't hear as humans.
Wow. You always add an interesting spin to the show, Leo. I love it.
Well, tell everybody why we played that song.
So we played the song, and we're going to introduce our guest. So this hour we have Miss Allie Serrano. She is Miss Photographer Extraordinaire. And I say that because on more than one occasion, she has actually made me look amazing. And so there's a little bit of a show. So I know Mimi's out there listening, but whenever she hears this, I'm going to have her grab the magazine that I was featured in, Tampa Real Producers. That's how I ended up meeting Allie initially. And she actually met me at one of my properties. It was one of our listeners, actually. I had their property listed. Beautiful home, wasn't it, Allie? And so we actually had them live on the air. We had them, we went on site at their property and did the feature write-up of me at their home. So I was really excited about that.
It was a beautiful home. And by the way, you look amazing all the time. I don't need to make you look amazing.
Well, I don't know. The last time I had a photo shoot with you, which for my book, I had this huge zit on my chin, and I didn't see it when I got it back on the proof. So
should have told me to remove it.
No, I didn't see it. It wasn't there. You must have touched it up.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So
do you think I'm going to let your image hang out there? But no.
Leo, I don't know if you've ever seen this, and we're going to show it on our Facebook live stream.
I never saw that. That's
but
awesome.
This is Tampa Real Producers. Do they feature like the top 3% or 5%?
To be honest, I don't know. That would be a dumb question.
It's at least the top 5%. I know that. And so this was the write-up they did with me, and usually they have this big party where everybody goes and they feature the people. Mine launched right around the time COVID hit. What was April? April 2020 was when this magazine was dropped.
Yeah.
So check it out, Leo. This was... These were the photos that she did.
These are great photos.
Yeah, in front of a property. And I met this listener. They were a listener of the show. That's how I met them, and we listed and sold their property.
It's like you're pointing at the red chair right there.
That would be a door.
I think that was a red door, but in the shadows, the color kind of fades away a little bit.
So this was the write-up that they did, and then she actually
look at this.
here.
This is in the studio.
Yep, she took some in the studio, and this was another one there.
You look so happy on the swing.
Isn't she happy, though?
Yeah, I look so happy. That's awesome.
It was such a cute little place.
These are awesome photos.
Thank you.
And so I'll show you my new one, too. And actually, we got to show this to our Facebook listeners and our YouTubers. So we're going to show you guys this. And if you want to get a copy of the write-up, just call or text 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775. So the cool part about this, Allie, is I could have chose to do it anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, tell me, where are some of the places you've photographed the other people they featured?
I've had people buy amateur works. I've photographed people. I had somebody on the boat. We took a boat out on the bay, cruise around.
Was that Brandon?
No, actually. That was one that hasn't been featured yet.
Okay.
She's like doing something like, let's do something nobody else has done. I'm like, okay, let's go on a boat. What else have you done? By Jackson's, by the Riverwalk there.
So a lot of people pick stuff in the community, right?
They do. Either that or in front of their homes. Yeah. It's what I always ask them is, what features you as a brand? What features you as a realtor? Because this is for realtors, obviously. So where do you sell your homes at? Do you focus on commercial? Do you focus on condos? I had a couple that's focused on Davis Island, so we did some locations there. Makes no sense for me to photograph you in New York if you don't sell there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the point is you took photos of me in the studio and also at the property. And for me, I think that's pretty spot on because everything I do is all about my people.
Exactly.
And that's actually a lot of what the write-up is about.
Yeah.
Mr. Speed Reader, if you want to pull out a few points. But basically, this was the write-up that they did on me, and just kind of talks about a little bit about my experience and my background, and the other show that we were doing, and just that sort of stuff. So for me, I really love the fact that I could highlight one of my customers that became a client that listened to Tampa Home Talk.
That's
so for
awesome.
me, that highlight for me was as much about them and showcasing their home as it was about me.
Yeah. And that's who you are, right? You focus on people first.
Yes. And so and I think they spotlighted that in the magazine write-up that they did.
To be honest, sometimes I don't know if they go, well, obviously they go based on the interview they do with you, but I don't know if the images are inspired by the article or if the article is inspired by the images, because I don't always know what they're writing. And sometimes the images are done before the article is done, or vice versa.
That's a good point.
So
I don't
that
know
is
the answer to that either.
I don't either. I guess depending on the writer, because there are several different writers that write for the magazine. But
So that was, I'm showing Leo the new photo.
Oh, that's great.
That
You
Allie
did the
took.
whole like hands on the hips thing.
yeah,
They were just making fun.
So how come
Were
you
they
just-
really?
How come you decided to do hands on hips instead of crossed over?
we did both.
Because this is not
But
me. Like,
it's not, and it's a typical attorney realtor pose.
Yeah.
Like it's I am a badass.
I'm not
and-
approachable. I'm that. Like,
Yeah.
that's not me.
No, it's not.
So for me, this pose, Leo, was more like, I'm fun. You can talk to me.
That's right.
It's pretty accurate.
I'm
right?
here. No, that was a good one. I'm happy.
And
you
that's the
picked it.
book that you haven't sped read yet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to speed reading it. I am.
We've got a running bet that I'm going to give Leo, once I have an advanced reader copy in my hand, I'm going to give it to Leo right before the show.
And he's gonna speed read it in what, like
He's going to have
3.5
about
seconds?
90 seconds,
Oh, wow.
and I'm going to ask him some questions from the book to see how much he actually retained.
Nice.
How do you think he's going to do?
I think he's gonna do well. He sounds like he's using a lot of his brain. I'm sure he's gonna do well.
So let's tell the story about, because my publisher actually had a photographer lined up,
Okay.
and I was supposed to go on a particular day.
Okay.
I was actually dressed
Huh.
to go for that photo shoot,
What happened?
and I wasn't able to go at the last minute, so hence I called you to get my own photographs that they were looking for the book.
Yep.
And so I actually had a property. My seller had cancer.
Oh.
And, thank God he's doing great in remission, but can wear down your body. You can't, He moved north to Perry, Florida, and was supposed to come get all the stuff out of the property. This was on a Friday.
Oh, okay.
Literally, I had just left the studio, and I was dressed. Remember the day I was dressed up?
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I think I was wearing this dress. It was a good thing I just got a new one because I got a new dress.
Yeah.
But I was wearing that dress, remember, and I was all dressed up in heels, ready to go.
Yeah, I do.
So I was supposed to do my photo shoot that day. Literally, right after I got off the air, I was running to go do that. And instead, I had to run home and change clothes because we had to empty a property really quick.
Oh, wow.
So my seller was supposed to get their stuff out Wednesday. I didn't know until late that day that he couldn't actually make it. And he said, I don't care. I don't want this stuff. Do whatever. So we'll usually, if we have time, we'll donate it or
Yeah.
whatever. Well, basically Thursday, I had somebody that was going to go get it, but it was more than they thought. And they needed somebody else to help them. And they needed more time. Well, I didn't know this until Friday morning. And so I knew I was going to have to deal with it. And so the other agent that called was mad and very unprofessional and ended up being a whole thing, which was crazy. She made it a bigger deal than it should have been because the buyer's money wasn't even there. They hadn't even signed. So, I said, look, everything will be out before your client's ready to move in. Anyway, we had a very different experience. And so Katrina had to go into worker bee mode and change out of this and not look the same after. So the point is, we do whatever it takes really to make it happen for our people, and sometimes that comes with it.
It does.
And so when we come back, right after this little break, we're going to talk a little bit about Allie and some of the questions that you get. Now, before we go to the break, do you photograph just people, or do you do properties, or what's your niche is people?
I focus on people and their pets because to me they're part of the family. But I'm originally from Europe, so I photographed tons of architecture there before
Okay.
I came here. So I know how to do both.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is Tampa Home Talk. Stick around. We're going to tell you all about Allie. And if you have not gotten your headshots in a while, might be a great time to consider that. 813-377-2775. We'll be back in a moment.
Keep this love in a photograph. We made these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing, hearts are never broken, and time's forever frozen still.
I feel like I'm going to cry now.
No, it's a happy song. Welcome back.
That's a happy song?
This is Tampa Home Talk.
That does not sound like a happy song. Leo Kane with Barrel Engineering and Inspection.
Well, who was that? Tell me who it was first.
Not genres
Leo.
of music that I listen to.
Of course it's not, because you listen to crazy stuff.
It's got to be like heavy metal or something.
No, that's
Right,
I listen to heavy metal.
Ed Sheeran.
Listen to 40s, and I listen to EDM. So what was that?
That was Ed Sheeran in Photograph.
Oh,
That is such a weird mix.
Ed Sheeran?
Heavy metal, 40s music.
No, it's extreme. I want the artist to show off their talent. When you get to like the standard pop rock or your alt alternative, they're fitting into formulas, they're fitting into boxes. When you do 40s, it was the creation of recorded music. EDM, you have two people with infinite amount of sounds to pull from, and metal is just extreme raw power. So I like the extreme of music where the artists get to shine.
All right. Well,
This guy is very eclectic.
We have Miss Allie Serrano with us this morning, and Mr. Leo Kane. I'm going to ask her a few questions.
Well, yeah, but
I asked you, when's the last time you had your headshot updated?
that's asking me a question. I'm the one asking the question.
Oh, you are, but I want you to answer the question. So.
I'm gonna twist it. Other than photography, what else do you specialize in?
Bringing out the soul out of people onto a canvas. Basically, what that means is, if you don't want to be forgotten, if you don't want to be the distant memory of the past when you're no longer here, then having a portrait of you hanging in your family's living room, you're in your family, and captured in a way that says who you are, captured in a way that brings out your soul onto that canvas. That's super powerful.
Do you have any soul photos, Leo?
Well, I'm just thinking that if you think back to like the 1800s and 1700s, that's what people did. They made portraits. If you go to a museum, you spend a lot of time looking at portraits.
Absolutely.
Until you're in the Renaissance, and then you spend a lot of time looking at
They're
biblical images. But other than that, I mean, portraits were a big deal back in the day.
And they were. And I'm originally from Europe, so that is part of my heritage. That is part of what I do. And so going to someone's home and not seeing anything on their walls, like, well, where's your fam? Is it all on a computer that's going to crash one day? Or is it
Great question.
going to be somewhere where you can talk to them every day?
So I've been to Allie's studio, and so not only does she capture just really amazing images, but she'll put them on a canvas, like she said, and you can have those for a long time to come.
They're artworks.
So why do people choose to work with you? Like if you were up against another photographer, what would you tell somebody if they say, why should I work with you? Why should I choose you, Allie, to update my headshot or take my family photo?
Because I'm the best. No. No, the reason is that most photographers, and trust me, there's amazing talent out there, but a lot of photographers are focused on the art of the lighting, the art of the equipment. They are not necessarily trained in working with the people. Most individuals, unless they're models, don't know what to do with themselves in front of the camera. Okay, I stand here, what do I do? Where do I put my arms? Where do I put my legs? How do I stand? How do you make me look beautiful? And it's like the worst experience next to going to a dentist.
Because there are some poses that are weird. They're not natural.
And sometimes it feels weird, but it looks great for the camera. That's the point, is for me to bring out who you are, for people to look at that image and say, yes, that's Katrina, and she looks amazing. It's not just a blank stare.
So let me ask you this. How would I know when it would be better to do a metal print versus a canvas print if I'm going to do a portrait. I mean, what would it separate the two? And I guess for the listeners, explain the difference between the two.
So canvas print, obviously, it's an old school canvas that we can either print on or paint on. It can be framed, but a lot of times you see canvas that are the 4-inch wraparound canvas. My style of canvas will be thin and framed. Metal would be basically, I've seen aluminum that is beautifully shiny. So the texture is different. Basically, on aluminum, on metal, there's no texture. It's shiny, reflective material. And I would say choose one or the two based on the style of your home, based on your design. If you have a very, help me out with the word here, antique style home,
Okay.
you're not going to choose a metal print.
You want canvas.
You want canvas because it's going to fit in with who you are, with what your style is. If you're very modern style design, you might go with a metal print because it's going to reflect the surroundings of the design of the home.
So how do you make somebody look amazing without actually altering the way they look? Because this is something that drives me crazy. Like for years and years, realtors would have a glamour shots photo of them like 30, 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. And they show up and it doesn't even look like them. Mm-hmm. And you're like, that's you? Like the minute I hand somebody a card and they don't recognize me from my card, it's time for me to get my headshot updated.
Thank you.
That's my rule of thumb.
Exactly.
And with that being said, I will say that for me, I don't like being over edited. Mm-hmm. Sure, if I've got a blemish on my face or something, you want to edit that, great. Mm-hmm. But I don't want like my color and the way I look. I don't want to be super airbrushed in the face. I don't want to not look like me.
Nobody does.
Nobody wants to look like themselves. I want to be heavily airbrushed.
No, I want to look like
No,
myself.
I meant nobody doesn't want it to look like them, especially for a headshot.
Wait, they don't want it to look like them?
I'm doing double negative here. For a headshot, you want it to look like you. For a headshot,
then I can just do my phone like this. It'll look just like me.
It's not the same though. If you do that, it's...
If I'm going to go through the trouble of getting a headshot, I want to be airbrushed. I want my hair to be darker. I want my beard to be fuller.
Yeah, but then if you use it for a business and they look at the image and they look at you and say, that's not you.
I just say that's because of the zoom. And the zoom adds 20 pounds.
No, you do bring up a good point, though. Camera adds pounds. You know, you've heard it on movies, too. Actors say visual still camera does the same thing.
Why?
It's the way that the lens is constructed. It's depending on the kind of equipment you use. You can, I don't want to go super technical here, but you can use certain...
Leah would prefer that.
I was just saying, go as technical as you want.
You can use a lens that's meant to shoot a wide scenery and use it for a headshot. It's going to make you look a lot bigger than you are. You can use a lens that's meant to zoom in something that's far away, and it's going to make you look skinnier and taller than you are. So there are different equipment that you can use. But mainly...
Like a funhouse mirror.
Yeah, exactly. Mainly, my goal is to first make you comfortable. Because if you're uncomfortable in front of the camera, it's going to alter the way you look. It's going to alter the way you come across to the camera. So I have a range, depending on who I'm working with. We crack jokes, we sit down, we have a conversation, and then every now and then I snap a photo. Or I go to the extreme of moving every body part, every muscle, so that it sculpts that portrait. And depending on who it is, depending on the personality. But the goal is for you to feel great.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Am I fun to photograph? Because I know I make some stupid faces, and I just
you are fun to photograph. Absolutely.
I can guarantee you, like in the proofs I didn't see, you'll see a whole lot of.
Yeah,
like,
I know you won't pick them, so I won't even go to show them to you.
But they're funny to look at.
They're funny to look at. Like if I did a compilation of just the funny faces, that would be cool.
You should totally do that. You can share it on Facebook. I'm not easily offended. It'll be fun. Yeah.
Will
but
do.
I'm the type, like, she'll ask me a question, I'll be like, mouth all hanging open, like, funny looking face.
Yeah, no, that is
but
fun.
it makes, like, what follows behind that good.
Exactly.
Because you're...
Yeah, it resets your face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Good way to say it.
Yeah, the emotion is important. The emotion is super important.
So have you, being that you're out of the country originally, you're from Europe, have you had instances where you have actually traveled with families to capture the experience of a vacation or whatever?
You know, I have went to Europe and photographed people there that were on vacation, but I have not actually traveled with somebody yet. I have a client that's considering flying me up to Canada next year to do a portrait of his family. But for me to actually join on a vacation, I'd probably prefer to meet them there because I'm going to be flying with a lot of equipment.
Let's talk about generational photos, because those are the ones that I don't think people capture enough. I mean, even though I have one whole side of my DNA population missing, on my mom's side, we had 5 generations.
Yeah,
And that's a hard thing to capture that people almost never get.
definitely.
And so let's chat about that when we come back right after the break, shall we?
Yeah.
All right, you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775. If you have not had your headshot or your family photo updated in a while, you might want to consider that. Again, call or text us. Text photo 813-377-2775. This is Tampa Home Talk, and stick around. We'll be back right after this break.
I wish I had my little Instamax camera. Go ching, 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 ching. Flash, flash.
How's this for 80s, Ellie?
I love it. Good
stuff.
pick.
Good stuff. Duran now takes me back to the drive over to the radio station where I was listening to 80s music.
Aw.
Good stuff. So we are back here on Tampa Home Talk. Leo Kane here with an article about Katrina that is literally about Katrina. If you are curious about her background, I highly recommend you pick up The Real Producers of Tampa Bay.
Actually, they can't. It's a very specialized, like, to you. We can send it to you, though. That I'm saying that goes only to the top 5% of agents get that. So it's not like the whole real estate population gets
So
this
if you
magazine.
want the exclusive, it's literally an exclusive on Katrina. You'll have to text exclusive to 813-377-2775. You learn all about her history in the mortgage industry. You can learn all about why she does what she does, how she's like an on-air sign. You can also learn about how she'd like to be remembered when she moves on.
Nice. Good sum up, Leo. Not bad.
I can't give away any real details because I want people to actually get the April 2020 edition.
Yeah. That's the part that sucked. It was April that it launched. I was like right in the middle of COVID, and there wasn't like the parties they normally do where they highlight the people in there. But anyway.
So do you do pets as well?
I do pets.
Do pets?
Well, I photograph pets.
Well, understood. Well, we have
Let's clear that up.
so we have as a surprise to all of us, there's a dog and 2 guinea pigs here in the studio.
Oh.
You'd be able to take a picture.
They're
of
not
them.
here in the studio.
No, they're in the building.
They're in the building.
So how would you capture a guinea pig in its prime?
How does a guinea pig want to be captured?
It doesn't. It's a guinea pig.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I mean, we have the dog. It's a beautiful brown dog.
Okay.
And then if you're up for a challenge, we can do some headshots of a dog and guinea pig between segments.
I don't think she brought her equipment.
I didn't bring my equipment. You should have told me that before I
didn't know there would be livestock here when I got here this morning.
Let's not get extreme.
Okay, so
You're getting extreme, Leo.
I do include pets into the family portraits.
Okay, you
absolutely.
do family portraits, you do pets, weddings.
No.
No weddings, no engagement photos.
No
weddings.
bridezillas?
No events. I
events?
focus on people.
Focus on people.
I focus on what I do best.
So what about
Backdrops. Do you like to? What kind of backdrops excite you? Like I like to stand on the St. Pete Pier looking over the bay, or I like to be in the Centennial Park in Ybor City where I got the cigar factories in the background. What kind of backgrounds are you looking for these people?
Depending on what your story is, every portrait session starts with a consultation. And where I sit down with you and talk with you about what's important to you, what's your history, what's your ancestry, what are we speaking about? Are we speaking about your business? In that case, do we need to place you somewhere where it relates to who you are and what you do? What story are we telling? sometimes the best backdrops are the ones that I have hand painted in my studio, where I could just focus on you, and it's got nothing to do with
So
the
you
background.
paint them, you hand paint them as well? Wow. I did not know that.
Yep.
That's awesome. So
How long does that take you?
An afternoon.
Wow.
So you custom hand paint a backdrop for your nice.
Absolutely. I have several.
So let's talk about someone new to business, right? Do you ever photograph people that are brand new to business, and how does your work help their work? Like, how do you help them grow?
You mean like new to the photography business or new to
No,
any
no,
business?
like they're starting a business.
Oh, okay.
And they haven't had a headshot done maybe ever.
Okay. It adds confidence to who you are, right? Because now you're you don't be transformed, but all of a sudden now you see yourself in a way that you haven't seen yourself ever if you've never been professionally photographed. Most people just look at themselves in a mirror, but now I elevate you and I bring out the things that make you absolutely amazing. And then you see that in a picture and you say, wow, that I actually look good. And that kind of helps you to, okay, good, I actually can run this business and I can actually do really well in it. And then combined with being connected with people, because I'm a huge connector, you know this, I'm a huge networker. So then I'm like, oh, who do you need to meet? How can I help to grow your business? Who do you want to be introduced to? That's all.
That's the key to networking right there. Like to business growth is how can I help you? What can I do to help your business?
Definitely. Now, just going through the details, we don't just focus on the emotional part. We talk about the colors. We talk about what to wear. A lot of my clients don't know what to wear. So what's your color of a business? What hairstyle do we need?
So let's talk about the book. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Because my publisher was looking for very specific background.
Yeah.
Very specific colors that I had to look for when I was choosing an outfit to be photographed in.
Exactly. And it's not just about, the color. You got to make it work you, right? If you don't look in yellow, if you have to wear yellow, let's find a shade that actually works with your skin tone, that doesn't wash you out, vice versa. So yeah, a lot of times clients bring half of their closet with them to my studio and then we pick there.
Wow. And you do have a studio in Tampa where you can capture all kinds of, you have a lot of, I saw you had all kinds of wardrobe stuff in there too.
I do have a wardrobe closet for my clients, yeah. Yeah, so if you don't have something, then we can use something from my studio too.
Okay, so before we get into like the cost and what you do, let's talk a little bit about, I want to know what is one of the coolest photo shoots you've ever done? Like in terms of either unique or, I don't know, just for whatever reason or another you remember it very uniquely.
So I would say I love these days doing the ancestral portraits.
Ancestral?
Ancestral. So
okay.
basically, where one of my clients, we work together on a regular basis, and she has a heritage in the gypsies. So basically, what we do is we bring out your heritage into the portrait, maybe styling it in the way that, in her case, we styled her in the gypsies outfit, but it wasn't like made to look like the 1800s. It was still a modern portrait,
nice.
But it reflects a little bit more of who you are, a little bit more of where you come from and what makes you you. So those are really cool.
So my mother-in-law from France would be holding a little Eiffel Tower. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily. It's more about the outfits, more about the accessories. Obviously, if you want me to reflect an Eiffel Tower behind you, then we can do that. But that's kind of what you were saying earlier about the family and the fact that your heritage necessarily doesn't get reflected into.
I love how you said you like to bring the soul out into the photo. That's really unique.
Yeah.
So tell me about a time you photographed someone you were really uncomfortable.
That was one of the earlier sessions I've had when I was first opening up my business. I've been a photographer for many years. And that was a private session that I don't own the rights to. The client retained the rights. And this was the first time he ever dressed as a woman.
Oh.
So that was new. Not necessarily uncomfortable per se.
You just weren't expecting that?
It was something that I've never done before. We rocked it. It was totally cool. Totally great session, and the images were amazing. But it was something new that I haven't done. But I embrace it. It's, who you are is who you are, and I want to embrace you. And if that's what you want to do, then let's do it.
I love it.
You're speechless.
You ask.
What question do you have?
I mean, I think it's great that people can be really comfortable. They can do fantasy. They can do what they feel. Photography is just beautiful to capture those images, make a portrait out of it. Did you go metal or canvas on that one?
He just retained the digitals. We did not display it.
That makes sense.
It was
only
a
for
private
him?
collection. Yeah. No, but sometimes people want to be dressed as a Victorian outfit, in a Victorian style romance portrait. It's all about what's the reason, right? Are we celebrating you as a new business owner? Are we celebrating your 40th birthday, your 50th birthday? Are we celebrating you with your mom and your daughter as a 4 generations?
So with that being said, like if it was a 40th or 50th birthday, you would not do like event photos where you capture the moment. You would do like a staged or set time at that milestone, yeah?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would focus on celebrating you. Yeah, and bringing you into the studio, getting your hair and makeup done, actually making you feel amazing. Most people at that age don't take the time for themselves.
Yeah.
You focus on everybody else first. So this is your time. This is the time for you to rest, for you to feel great, for you to remember that you're amazing.
How many generations have you captured at one time? What's the most?
I had 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the fact that I actually had 5 at one time was pretty amazing.
That is
really
pretty
amazing.
amazing.
That's
Most
like
people don't have
That's
5.
125 years of peoples. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was my great-grandmother, which was in her 90s, my grandmother, my mother, me, and my oldest daughter.
Nice.
I like how she leaves the ages out on everyone.
I know.
like
That's cool.
Someone's almost 100 years old. Brag age. Down from there, just nope.
It's less than 93. That's all you need to know.
It's less than 90. Somewhere between 0 and 90.
No, it's cool though. But what's sad sometimes is I want to reach out to the older generation and say, hey, let's capture a portrait of you.
Yeah.
So that your family can remember you. Well, if you're 80 years old, you don't necessarily want to be remembered as you look
As
in
80,
80.
yeah.
That is true.
You want to be remembered as you were in your prime.
Yeah.
So that's where when clients send me an image, if it's a good quality, I can turn it into a painting. So that's something that I can talk about with that generation.
I wish I had grabbed some photos with my grandfather before he passed. I would have been 4 generations, but
yeah.
nonetheless, really amazing.
Totally.
And
that kind of reminds me, like, I've been in several museums where I've looked at oil on canvas, and the quality of the painting was so real. I'm like, am I looking at a photograph or is this an actual painting? I mean, it's just, I don't know if that's because of the oil-based paint or the material. I know it's a lot of skill on the artist, but does the paint itself have something to do with the fact that the painting looks like, skill aside, painting looks like a photograph?
It does, I would say, and it can be done both ways. You can have a photograph that looks like a painting. So, yeah, you can have it done both ways. Absolutely.
Nice.
So when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the cost. Like, what does it cost for a package? What kind of packages you have, and some ideas, for where and how to shoot that. And you have a special discount for our listeners.
Yep.
All right. So our off-air number, 813-377-2775. You can call or text if you want some information on capturing these generational photos, or you need your headshot updated, or, even graduation. Look at all the kids that
Definitely
didn't have a real whatever.
Yeah, I could totally stay 6 feet away from you outside, and yeah.
All right. Well, this is Tampa Home Talk again. Off-air number 377-2775. Of course, 813 area code 377-2775. We'll be back right after this quick break, so stick around. Back with Allie Serrano in a minute. Welcome back to Tampa Home Talk. How was that, Leo?
I think we're still in the 80s. 80s or early 90s?
That's perfect. I love the 80s.
That was probably early 90s.
Early 90s.
Leo's like, no, Nickelback.
And as long as it wasn't, well, I didn't even want to mention them on the air.
You know, that was the next one. If we had another break.
What did they do to you?
They destroyed and created alternative rock. So yes, they did a lot.
Just wanted to hear your take on it. So, Allie, how does it work when you do either photographs or generational shots? What is the cost? Does someone pay to retain you? Like, how does it work?
So the first question I'm going to ask, if you tell me how much it costs, is how large is your wall? Or what's the purpose of it, right? Are we looking at doing just digitals for your business? A lot of times business owners don't need a wall portrait. Or are we doing a wall portrait or a print package? And then from there, we look at, okay, how large about we're thinking. I'll give you a price point. So usually you, on a lower end, on the digital side, you'll start around $450 for a package, and then it'll go up from there. Now, the actual cost, you won't know until you've seen the images, because a lot of times people can't picture what will the images look like and how much or how many will they love, or will they really love it, right? If you're doing a wall portrait, yeah, you'll probably know what size you're looking at. But if we're looking at doing a collection, you won't know until you've seen the portraits, and then we actually sit down, go through them together, and then you might hope, okay, I'll only take 3, but then you actually love all 20 or all 30 that I show you. And so you depending on what you love, once
The more
you
you
see
buy,
them.
the less it is, right?
Of course,
For headshots, you ought to ask how big their head is.
That is a good question.
True. Charged by the inch.
How much space am I actually going to need?
Charged by the square
Exactly.
inch.
The other question that is good to consider is, if we're doing a 5-generation wall portrait, then you probably don't want it to be 16 by 20, because the heads will be really tiny, right? If you have 5 generations in one portrait, so you want to probably do a larger size. So
I'm pulling up the proofs you did. How many did you take? And then you sent me 18 of those.
I took about, I'd say, 200-ish. Roughly.
So these were what she thought were the best 18, Leo.
Yeah, and usually narrow them down to about best 20, 30, depending on how many sets we do. For headshots, sometimes it's hard to narrow down even tighter, because I don't know what expressions you love. Some people love a big smile of theirs, some people don't. So I often let you pick the expression that you want to use, but...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So can you give me an idea, like if someone is looking for, I guess it starts digital, right? Like
it starts digital on the lowest, absolutely lowest cost. If you're looking to do one image without it being a collection price, so a la carte, you're looking to book me and have one image for $500. So it'll be booking fee of $250. That's part of the session cost, and $250 for one digital image.
And how does that change as people buy more or choose more?
Then if you're looking to do, let's say, collection of 3 or collection of 6 or collection of 10, then the more you have in a package, the less it costs per image. So that's where we sit down and go through that during a consultation.
And what are can you describe some of the photo packages that you have? Because I know you said you also paint people, which is incredible.
So I have package where it's a combination of the painting. I could do, my specialty is photographic oil painting. So it starts out with a photograph, and then I turn it into a digital painting that then gets put on a canvas. We add more paint to the final process. So it's a blend of mediums.
Oh.
It's really cool. And we can have that.
So it's printed on there, and then
we add more,
wow,
more brushstrokes. So that's part of the package, and what's also part of the package is a what I call a image box. It's leather bound, and then it has matted prints inside that are not. It's different from an album. Album, you're gonna have all stick together in a spine, right? So you can't pull them out. Each one is an individual image. So if you, let's say, have a collection of 20 and you want to give one to your mom to hang on your wall, you can. And it's perfect for if you're doing a private collection. Let's say a glamour set of portraits that's just for you. You don't necessarily want to have those on the wall, right? Some people feel weird about having a portrait of themselves on the wall. I don't. I recommend that to my clients, but some don't prefer that. So then that would be part of the package as well. So you have the oil painting, let's say it's the family one, and then we'll do a set that's just for you. So you have the print package, and you also get digitals of everything that you get. So a collection like that would be really cool.
What would something like that run?
Depending on the size of the image in the collection and size of the wall portrait, but you'll starting around 2,500-ish on that, go up.
And then what do you have? You have something special for our listeners, right?
I do. For the if you call me or text me and let me know that that you came through the Tampa Home Talk.
Nice. Yeah, we would connect you. We usually direct people to our off-air number, and then
perfect.
Which is 813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775.
Then for the first 10, I'll do a 20% off of the whole order.
Nice.
Great.
So great deal.
So you get, if you're a family of 5, you'll only get 4 of you.
Nice.
Yeah. So for the first 10, we've got to limit it to exclusivity.
So again, our off-air number is 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775. And as we're approaching the final minutes of the show, Allie, you got to give us another story. Give us something cool. Like, I don't know, what's something cool or unique or wild, or where's the weirdest place you've ever photographed?
Weirdest place? You should have asked me that to prepare the answer for this.
I know, right? It's nothing like on the fly. Here's your question. You're on the air. Go.
Yeah, right. No, but what I love, I don't know about weirdest place, but what I love is the weirdest outfits. Putting together outfits, let's say I have a set of gold leaves, and then we put that on you. So
what is your weirdest outfit?
Where you wear absolutely nothing, you have gold paint on, and just gold leaves around your head.
Wow. All right. This is Tampa Home Talk. Thanks, Allie. It's been so fun to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And don't forget my new book, sellingthroughrelationships.com. Pre-sales right now. And the photo on the book Allie took.
Yay.
Thanks so much for joining us this week. Remember, love where you live, or I'm going to fix it. Welcome home. See you next week.